This is Comic Picks by the Glick.
Hey, I'm your host, Jason Glick.
Hey, Jason Glick, how are you?
I'm doing just fine, John. Yourself?
Not too bad. I feel like July has gone on way too long. But we're in the middle of summer here, man. So.
Yeah, and it's about to get Well, why are we talking about the weather and all? Because I mean, Southern California is gonna be completely shitty, until it either rains enough to get out of our drought, or the drought continues to the point where Mad Max Fury Road basically becomes like a documentary for Southern California's future and all.
Yes, I'm gonna go and get my war rig ready.
That's basically the direction we're headed right now.
Yep. So what do you have on tap for us tonight, sir?
Yes, well, getting away from crazy ass metaphors for Southern California's future, it's like I just decided I'm not going to talk about stuff that one series or one creator. I'm just going to clear my backlog because I've got a ton of stuff from Comic Con that needs reading, and like a big stack of comic books that need reviewing as well. Some of this stuff you'll see coming up. Well, you'll have seen by the time this goes. You'll hopefully read my reviews of Freezing and Prison School, in the Quest for Great Trash, as well as my thoughts on the first two volumes of Miss Marvel, and the final volume of Avengers: Time Runs Out. So, but in the meantime, though, it's like I've got a bunch of Image books he's talking about. Now, you'll notice that if you've got decent memories, you'll notice that I did a post about this earlier in the year, where I just basically caught up on hey, all the other Image books that had formed a backlog in my review log. And it's funny because hey, it's I love what Image does, and and they are easily the best publisher putting stuff out these days. Yeah, I always have a soft spot for Marvel and DC because I'm thoroughly invested in their universes and their characters, but for the future of comics, Image is where it's at, and that's why I'm dealing with a backlog of stuff, both old and new, from creators who are new to them, so the people who've been working with them for a while. So starting off, and also it's worth noting that all this stuff I'm talking about, basically I read before, during, and after Comic-Con. So that's how far behind the 8 ball I am right now with my reviews and stuff. At least as far as I'm concerned and all. Anyway, first up is Witches. Witches with the Y, from writer Scott Snyder and artist Jock. Snyder, best known around here for his excellent work with Batman, his entertaining work with American Vampire, and half of it was good, half of it was kind of crap. Work on On the Wake and other titles as well. Snyder does have a good eye for renting genre tropes, and he kind of puts that to work here with this series about a family, the Rooks, who moved to a new town after their daughter has some unfortunate drama and trauma. It's in their old home. They want to get away from that. Now, it starts off with a great hook in the sense that what if the person who bullied you as a kid was killed, then comes back as some crazy supernatural entity. That's what happens to the Rook's daughter, Sailor, as the opening issue. She was tormented by a mean girl from their school, before this girl could really really start ruining this girl Sailor's life, she was murdered right before the girl's eyes after she was sucked into a tree by some weird entity. So everyone thinks that Sailor killed her, but that's not the case. And so which is basically it's an interesting horror concept, and it sets up and while it shows the focus is on what happens to Sailor, it also deals with her dad Charlie, who's a recovering alcoholic and author of children's graphic novels, as he tries to figure out just how he can help his daughter, like in this, and the answer comes to him through this crazy bald woman who also is missing her legs as well because of these witches who apparently have the ability to prompt to if you whoever is pledged to them, they will be able to offer their it's like offer their what am I trying to say here? It's like offer whatever you want to them. Now, here's the thing. For a series that has a title like Witches with a Y, it's like you can look at this and go, oh yeah, you're being real clever and all. It's like by going with this oldie time spelling of the series. Now, I'll say this: for the first half of the series, I can tolerate that. Which is, hey, it's cool. You've got the mystery. You've got the horror going for it. That's great. But then you get as things go into the back half. Things start becoming a lot more conventional up until the exposition-heavy climax, where everything about these characters is spelled out, as well as the plot is basically told to the readers, like, oh, this is what was really going on, and it's like, oh man, Snyder, you just had to just fumble it in the back half here, didn't you? So it's not a bad read, but it's not. It's not on the level of Snyder's other creator-owned work, American Vampire, which I'd love to see get back on schedule, or even his Batman work, which hey, he doesn't get paid for as much as this stuff, which is a fucking shame, really. I mean, your Batman's the best-selling book in the industry. I mean, like, why don't you get paid more for doing that than than the creator-owned work? But I digress. But so, which is not bad, but not nearly the home run that that you would expect from this creative team. And Jock does a good job with the it's like with the art. He's got this whole like everything's at odd angles shtick with that that Sean Phillips does really well. And it's not like crazy action like that. He does pretty well, but it's great solid work. Even if like there's all this color being scrawled over it, but that annoyed the hell out of me more than anything else. Kind of like what with Tula Latay's work in Supreme Blue Rose. But there you go. Which is not bad, not all that great either. Then you've got this new series called Rumble from BPRD creators John Arcudi and James Herron. Now, if you've been reading the blog, you'll notice I haven't talked about that. I've mentioned this series in the context of it was described initially as like Louis C.K. meets Robert E. Howard in a David Fincher universe. And I'm saying, what the fuck does that even mean? God damn it! I mean, yeah, I'm all for just creative comparisons and all, but this just seems like whoever wrote that just was disappearing up his own ass at the time. It can basically be more easily pared down to basically kind of like a Conan. What if Conan was sucked into the modern world as a scarecrow god, and then had to settle all old scores with the monsters that had survived in the meantime? Even more specifically, for people who have read BPRD and remember Howard's, the guy who had the dream of his past life as a barbarian warrior and has a sword that makes him into a complete badass in the present day. It's kind of like Arcudi and Herron, who also worked on the character and stories involving him. They went and said, hey, there's more to this. We can do more. This is like a series waiting to happen. And so that's kind of what they did with Rumble, in the sense that it's a series about a barbarian warrior named Rathak, who was fighting against the evil Isu race back in his Land Before Time days. But then he's betrayed, and his soul is condemned to solitude for thousands of years, up until it's realized that that an oversight basically meant that he should have been released ages ago, and so he's brought back into the modern day and sent into the only body that can contain him, a nearby scarecrow. So then while he's looking to get his body back and take out the Isao as well, he also has he also has help from some people like some everyday people. Bobby, who tends a bar, and who was also that is also frequented by the by one of the people who betrayed Rathak back in the day, and Bobby's buddy Dell, who hears about, hey, there's a scarecrow guy who's possessed by the spirit of a legendary barbarian, and he's out to take revenge against the people who did him wrong. It's like, oh hell yeah, man, I'm gonna go and kick some ass and all that shit. And it's like and it's good fun. This first volume tells an interesting story that isn't immediately clear in it's like at first. I mean, if you're reading the single issues, I can imagine hey, I read this and the first issue was like, what the fuck is going on here? The story doesn't really become clear until the third issue, but by then it's if you get to that point, you understand what he's doing, the various agendas and storylines at play here, and it becomes a lot more involving as a result. By the end of the first volume, I was invested in seeing Rathak get his body back, as well as his fight against the Isao, as well as Bobby and Dell's roles, critical roles in his quest as well. Also, the art from James Herron is fantastic. I mean, Herron is a great artist with when it comes to showing us creatively designed monsters, and that's what got him the job on BPRD, and it's a real asset here. Yeah, he's missed on BPRD, but his work on Rumble is top tier for what it is. Great stuff, and I'm looking forward to seeing more of this, even if its weirdness and quirkiness maybe will mean that it doesn't last as long as it should. Now, as far as these are new series, but old series that I got new volumes of include consist of really is Invincible Volume 21, Modern Family. Yes, we've moved out of the age of volume titles from 80s sitcoms, and we're moving on to the modern era here. Robert Kirkman and Ryan Ottley's series has been fantastic, consistently fantastic, in the sense that it's a superhero series that isn't beholden to any specific. Yes, it essentially takes place in the Image universe, but the Image universe is kind of such a nebulous construct that it really doesn't matter. It's what goes on here, to the point where you can have where you can have one of the supporting characters, Robot, take it over and make things better, and everyone's not going to blink an eye at that. In fact, it'll make a compelling plot point here, because after our series protagonist Mark Grayson witnesses the world being made better at the hands of this guy who did all these bad things in order for it to happen, he realizes, hey, there's no point in hanging around here. I'm just gonna go. I'm gonna take my long-term girlfriend, my kid, and we're just gonna go out to Earth, because go out into the universe, because there's so much drama here that that it's not worth dealing with anymore. And that's the thrust of this volume, and it makes for a lot of good storytelling drama. I mean, one of the fun plot threads that runs through this volume is the fight between Battle Beast and exiled Viltrumite leader Thrag, as they start fighting in the first issue, and then you'll see them fight throughout the every subsequent issue until the victor establishes himself, and it gets and you find out that, oh, hey, this is how it's going to go. And Thrag is also has his own plans for taking back the Viltrumite throne, and the way he's doing it, it's probably going to work. But worth noting, though, is that this series also follows up on the aftermath of Mark's rape by the Viltrumite Anissa in the previous volume, and this is something that it's difficult to talk about, in the sense that it risks becoming a plot development for shock value, and trivializing the concept of rape in the first place. But Kirkman sticks the landing here in this volume too is Mark has another confrontation with Anissa in front of his dad that he's furious at her, but he can't do anything about it without talking about it, and he's just not going to do that. He does, however, discuss it with his wife and long-term girlfriend Eve, and it's like, wow, it's like that's the it's like it's heartening to see that she's going to stick by him and help him deal with this, but it also helps emphasize the idea that rape is not something that just happens to women for cheap drama in comics. Yeah, it's like it happens to the guys, and Mark's gonna have to keep dealing with this like for a long time and all, and whether or not it's gonna come down to him beating the crap out of Anissa, or finding some other way to deal with it. That's something I'm interested in seeing. But at the same time, though, there's also all this great alien drama in the sense that hey, that they have to find out just how we've got, how do we deal with living in this on another planet, in the sense that where there's this food that will make our crap just seem like some sort of unholy excrement, or food that will make our daughter's blood so oxygenized it looks like she's not breathing. It's when you're rescuing a kitty from a tree, turns out this kitty is an edible delicacy as well. It's like just weird stuff like that. I mean, Invincible it's like they Turkman likes to troll the industry in the sense that, hey, it's like it's probably the best superhero comic book published in the universe, but more often than not, Invincible shows us that it really is one of the best superhero comics out there, and consistently an argument for for having your own being able to do whatever you want within your own superhero universe. All right, next up is Volume 2 of The Wicked and the Divine, Fandemonium, and it was mentioned in the solicitations that it was going to be even better than the first volume because the first volume collected 5 issues. This one collects 6. 6 is better than 5. It's one more, right? And it's like it is a ton of fun. So after the first volume dealt with the return of the gods to Earth and heralded this this great time of crazy inspiration and drama. It also had Lucifer, the human incarnation of Lucifer, getting caught up in a web of drama that involved the death of the judge, and her own death by exploding head as well. Now Laura, the human who was recruited by Lucifer in order to help her sort out this stuff, she's still dealing with the aftermath of Lucifer's death, as well as the moment when she snapped her fingers and a flame came out at the end as well. So this volume is equal parts just Laura dealing with her drama, and working with Inanna, one of the other gods, to find out just what happened to Lucifer, and also the the convention of the gods, Fandemonium. It's and also stuff like the introduction of Dionysus, the dance floor who walks like a god, basically the party god for all the revelation of of the three Norn gods as well, Urdur, Verdandi, and Skald, who they can tell your past, present, and future, but are also also best known around these parts for being the distaff inspiration for Belldandy, Earth, and Skald for Oh My Goddess, which I always get a kick out of when I see other writers interpreting this. First with Neil Gaiman back in the days of Sandman, and now Kieran Gillen with with The Wicked and Divine. And there's also all sorts of drama being masterminded by the god's handler, Ananka, as she tells Baphomet about how he's the only one of the gods who can actually kill them and steal their lives to make him last longer than the 2 years that they're given. So there's that, but also it turns out that that's the revelation that some of these people just to hold the drama, that they're involved with, and also the visual inspiration that Gillen and McKelvey unleashed on the page. It's thoroughly fantastic, a lot of fun, and then you get to the final issue and you realize, oh, hey, it's like, turns out like, getting what you want isn't isn't exactly the best. It's like what you like the best thing in the world ever. It's like, and it turns out that if there is there is an antagonist in the series, it's going to be Ananka, because like the end of the volume basically sets up some great A-level drama, as well as telling us, hey, the story you've been reading so far, maybe not what you've been expecting. So really, it's like volume 2, it's like significant step forward, and even if the first volume didn't set my mind on fire, this volume definitely shows you that, hey, it's like Gillen McKelvey still have a real winner with this series. But hey, I'm still glad that McKelvey has taken a break to give us the next volume of Phonogram as well, which is going to be awesome. And finally, we've got the best of these series that I've been talking about here, the Autumn Lands, Volume 1, Tooth and Claw, from Kurt Busiek, the writer and artist Benjamin Dewey. This is a series that I got the impression was basically going to be like Conan with the serial numbers filed off, featuring a bunch of talking animals. That's not too far off, but there's a fantastic sense of world building here that Busiek invests in this series, basically showing us this world full of talking animals that have their own gods, their own culture, it's like their own businesses, and all the petty rivalries that exist between the species, as well as the people who have the power, magic, and those who don't. It's the first volume sets up it's a fascinating world, and also one that is in decline in the sense that it's getting harder and harder to perform magic. So it's basically one maverick practitioner of the arts, Garta, a female warthog, basically proposes the idea of summoning the great champion of the world, who basically helped create magic, to bring him back into this world and basically jumpstart things. Now her attempt to do this is basically poo-pooed by the A-list magic users, and she has to recruit a bunch of people who are just people who are just hey, we want to try this, but we're not like the A-list here, including Sans, the owl, who is so full of himself that you just know he's going to be an antagonist over the course of this series. Now the thing is, their attempt works. They're able to bring a great hero into this world, but it also comes at the cost of one of their flying cities being brought to the ground. It also happens to be the flying city that they're all on at the time. So now they're on the ground, having to deal with the natives who don't like them, feel that they've been lording them over them after all this time, and you basically just got a bunch of magic users who have got access to some spells, but aren't the greatest physical fighters as well. But then the big reveal is that it doesn't look like they brought the actual great hero back. They brought some guy named Stephen T. Learoyd, and thing is, he actually he didn't come from some fancy ass magical wielding universe. No, he came from some hardcore science fiction lasers and starfighters style universe, and he's convinced at first that this is some crazy psyops trick to get him to spill all the secrets he has for his side of the war that he's on. But he eventually comes around to realize that, hey, it's even if this is a complete hallucination, it doesn't have to be completely stupid. So basically, you've got a human, not a talking animal, who is like who is really clever, like leading a bunch of talking animals who are more like magic users than anything else against a group of evil other talking animals who are evil buffalo people who are like looking to settle some scores for years of mistreatment at the hands of these magic users. So it's so basically it's a the series is a great it's a great bit of world building. Like it establishes some really interesting characters, even if they do contain they do adhere to some standard tropes as well. But it's a thoroughly entertaining read. Features some fantastically detailed art from Benjamin Dewey, and really it's like by the end of the first volume, I was like, what's gonna happen next? I mean, yeah, it's like at the end of Witches, I was kind of like, oh, okay, I can kind of see where this is going. Rumble, same thing. Wicked and Divine, yeah, that's it. They've kind of like self-destructed their initial premise, but the Autumn Lands, yeah, it's like I really want to know what's gonna happen next, and yeah, it's not Conan with the serial numbers filed off. It's something better. So really, it's like um, out of all the series here, well, I mean, of course, I'm always looking forward to the next volume of Invincible, but I'm eager for next volume of the Autumn Lands, and definitely want to see where Busick and Dewey are going with this. So, John, any thoughts on your end about all this stuff?
Well, there sure is a lot of stuff you did talk about, but not in particular. Um, do you recommend the Invincible series still? Is it
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I wouldn't have gotten you the that first volume, first hardcover all those years ago if I didn't think it was worth following.
still
And
going strong then?
still going strong. I mean,
Excellent.
it's Kirkman's just it's just look at these days he looks at the like at the series and goes like, what superhero convention can I subvert with this volume?
Cool. And I know that one you talked about this time was Modern Family, correct?
Yeah, that's the title of the latest volume.
Oh, great, fantastic. So, outside of that, do you know what you're going to talk about next time?
Next time is the finale of Fables. I'm gonna catch up with volume 22, and also talk about the final volume, which also doubles as issue 150 of the series.
Great. Well, we look forward to it, and we'll catch you next time on Comic Picks by the Glick.
All right, laters.
Bye.